Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I gotta get some more stuff up in the new office to get the echo gone, so I apologize if there's an echo right now. Hardwood floors, not a lot on the walls yet, but as you can see, it's starting to come along a little bit in the background. But I thought I'd bring you an update. We have the Ruby Princess, finally did set sail, although with a few less passengers than was originally planned. We have a fire on a cruise ship that has caused the whole cancellation of that cruise plus the next one. We also have Greece warning tourists going to one of the most popular destinations in Greece that you're gonna have a little bit more difficult time going. And also, Royal Caribbean has come out and warned passengers sailing out of Vancouver, yeah, you could be delayed getting off the ship. So the Marella Discovery ended up having an engine fire in one of its 5 engines. It was contained, the suppression system worked perfectly, the fire was put out, and the cruise ship was basically nobody got injured. There were no damages to other areas of the ship, but they sailed back into the Dominican Republic to get it assessed and checked out. Now, when one of these fire suppression system goes in, is utilized, it has to get recertified and rechecked before the ships are allowed to sail again. Because they're in the Dominican Republic, they have to fly in the certification people. There's none in the Dominican Republic. So before they can set sail again and do the repairs, they have to have these guys come in and check and recertify the fire system. Because of that, they sent out a letter to guests saying that there's no way that they can make it back to the home port by the time everyone was supposed to get off the ship, so they've made the hard decision to cancel the cruise, and they are preparing to fly everybody home at, of course, the cruise line's expense. So they ask for people's patience who are on board. Obviously, it's a logistical nightmare to have to reschedule 1,000 people to fly home, especially to the UK, where a lot of these passengers are from. But they're going to do that. They also said you're either going to get a full refund or a prorated refund based on when you get on the cruise. Some people have been on that cruise 3 and 4 back-to-back cruises. Obviously, if you've sailed 3 full cruises and then it happened on the 4th cruise, they're not going to pay you for the whole month. They're just going to pay you for the cruise that you actually lost. But if this was your first cruise and your only cruise, you will end up getting a full refund, plus any expenses like port fees, etc., plus shore excursions obviously are going to be refunded. No word if they're going to offer a future cruise credit of any kind yet, but I imagine that will be coming down the pipeline as well. Obviously, it's not the cruise line who wanted to do this. They didn't want to lose the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they were going to make on this cruise. And the good news though, everyone was safe, no one got injured, and the ship will be ready to sail again in a couple weeks. The very next cruise scheduled was also canceled to make sure that they could get the repairs done and certification redone just in case. Also now we have Greece and the Acropolis. One of the most popular destinations in Greece is, because tourism is up 80% over last year. Some of these iconic history locations are just inundated with tourists. And so they're implementing new procedures such as time to show up, book times, only certain accredited tours are allowed to go in, etc. So it's going to make it more and more difficult to get in to the Acropolis now, and possibly more of the destinations around Greece at the same time as tourism keeps picking up right now. One of the things that I'll recommend to you right now is if you are on a cruise ship and you're stopping in, this would be one of those times now that you would want to book a shore excursion through the cruise line or another accredited agency and not do the hop-on, hop-off buses and hope to just go up and pay and go in. because you may do that now and you may not be allowed to get in anymore because of these new restrictions that are going. So you might miss out on getting into the destination you wanted to go see. Just as a heads up, it might be worth spending that extra $40, $50 per person to guarantee you getting into these things, because you'd hate to go to Greece and miss the Acropolis. You just wouldn't want to do that. Also, Ruby Princess. The Ruby Princess is set sail finally on the Alaska cruise after hitting the dock and repairing it. And a lot of people were asking me, they were wondering how many people took them up on the offer to stay on the ship and how many people took them up on the offer to leave the ship. Well, they had about 3,200 passengers on board when they were getting ready to initially sail, and they're now going to sail this Alaska cruise with about 570 less passengers. So about 570 took them up on the offer that, yeah, we're not going to stay on a shorter cruise and just go to one Alaska port. We're going to cancel our cruise altogether, and we'll take another cruise at another time. So there you go. It's their decision. Myself, with the offers that were there, and I'm already on the ship, and I've already flown, and I've already done, I'd probably have just stayed on the ship. But then again, I love cruising. So yeah, that's the one thing. Speaking of sailing out of the Vancouver, Alaska area, Royal Caribbean has sent out a note to passengers on their ships saying that if you are getting and disembarking in Vancouver because of the shore workers strike, the longshoremen that's going on right now. Now, while they say they are not going to target the cruise ships and they're not going to try and disrupt the cruise ship industry right now, the thing they're warning about is that they've changed the time that the luggage will start being unloaded into the terminal for you to pick up. So when you leave your bags outside in the evening and they take it away, and then you go to your appointed time in the morning, get off the ship, and your luggage is waiting for you outside in the terminal, that is now postponed an hour to a time around 9:30, which is quite late. Many people are getting off the ship around 8 o'clock in the morning most times. So that's an hour, hour and a half later. And if you have a flight and you booked it at like 10:30, 11, thinking well, first of all, you should never do that. You should never book a flight before noon, just saying. But yeah, now 9:30 and you have, say, a 10:30, 11 o'clock, you got to get all the way out to Vancouver through the traffic in the morning. You're not going to have a good day. You're going to have a bad day. So keep that in mind. But the one thing they did say, that's only if you are leaving your luggage for a porter to take out and meet outside on the cruise. You can still take your own luggage off the cruise yourself. Many people like to do that because then you don't have to worry about finding your luggage in the morning. You're not worried about it being lost or missing the time. You just get in line, and you're normally some of the first people to be allowed to get off the ship when you're taking off your own luggage. However, if you have mobility issues and need wheelchair assistance, you cannot take this offer. They cannot spare a lot of people to not only come up and escort you with your wheelchair, they can't also spare somebody to also bring your luggage with you at the exact same time. So it's, that would take up a lot of manpower on a day when they are the busiest they ever are on a cruise, embarking new passengers, disembarking passengers, and getting the ship ready between. That's the busiest a crew will ever be on a cruise ship. So yeah, a little bit of a warning if you're sailing out of Vancouver. It doesn't matter when you go to Sitka, if you're on that 7-day northbound, that won't matter because Sitka's not on strike. That's Alaska, that's United States. It's only when you get back into Vancouver, if you're disembarking there, that's where your issue could come in. So just a little bit of a heads up. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.